Okay, so,
That doesn't,
a couple of things that I kind of overlooked at the beginning. Michelle Sugiyama usually does our nutrition part. Unfortunately, her mother had a brain hemorrhage and died.
oh
And-
no.
Yes, and so Michelle is in Ohio attending to the funeral for her mother. I don't know how old her mother was. I don't know anything beyond that, but anyway, she couldn't be here today, so Rosetta is standing in for her, and thank you so much, Rosetta, for being here. I am Joan Stutz. I am a certified financial educator, and what I do is work with people, talking to them about how money works so they can sleep at night. But before I get into the financial part of it, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about my experience with my husband and with Dr. Nesto. First of all, Earl always had low cholesterol. The doctor loved his cholesterol. My cholesterol is high. His cholesterol is low. He had a car accident where his head hit the steering wheel so hard that it knocked his teeth out many years ago. So I'm assuming he probably had some sort of a concussion at that time. He suffered from depression and bipolar. So he had many of the symptoms that Dr. Nesto was talking about. In addition to that, he didn't want to exercise, and he wanted to eat chips and beer. You know, that was his favorite thing. If I left him at home to fix his own meal, I'd come back and find a bag of chips gone. So he did not eat well. I asked him one time, I said, because I was so exasperated, I said, didn't your mother ever teach you to eat vegetables? No. You know, what did your mother do? Sat on the couch and smoked. Okay. So he had no nutrition sense. So if I had known all these symptoms years ago, he was predicted to become a dementia case. In addition to that, he had a serious illness 7 years ago, was he has a leaky heart valve. He was sent home to die 7 years ago. But when he started failing in his memory, I always thought he would die from the heart thing before his memory got too bad. And finally, one day I realized that wasn't going to happen. So we had to take action. But you look at that, look at his history. Now that I know some of the symptoms and some of the problems that indicate depression, Alzheimer's and dementia, I could have predicted that. It was predictable. The worst, okay, so what happens to people who have dementia and Alzheimer's? One of the problems is that they become socially isolated. Now, I get him out and around, we go to plays, we go to the symphony, we go to art galleries, I have lunches with friends who know him. But it's important to keep this social activity up. I'm a loner. No, I don't want to go to anywhere. I'm a loner, I'm a loner. So that's another predictive factor. You know, are you avoiding social contact? Maybe you need to become a more social person. I retired for 2 years from real estate. When I quit real estate, I lost my income, but I also lost my social life because my friends and my clients were my social life. And so I then had Earl as my social life, an engineer who's a loner, who doesn't talk. Ah! So that's why I started in the financial services business. I needed something to do on my own. Okay, So that's been the worst part is he lost his driver's license. He's still mad about that. They took my driver's license. By the time they took his driver's license, I was very happy about it because driving with him became problematical, shall we say. Dangerous, probably. That once they took his driver's license, he felt confined and isolated, and he was confined and isolated. So I would urge you to, I'm going to do that $99 thing. I haven't done that yet. All right, how many of you are going to go do that?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good heavens.
So there's nothing on the form that says to do it, so I just wrote $99 special underneath it, so
All right,
Yeah.
just make sure I get the paper out.
yeah.
Yeah. No, to spend $99 and find out what your risk is such a bargain. And the other day I was trying to tell my daughter that I sold Apple stock. I couldn't remember Apple. Can you believe, how could I not remember Apple? So I'm gonna do the test and find out where I am. Yeah, can't forget Apple, right?
Yeah, that's what keeps the doctor away.
Okay, so how much have we spent on supplements, on doctor visits, and we got a little three-wheel bike that he can go around the block on for exercise, and we joined the Y, which is $100 a month for the two of us, and we go to the Y fairly regularly since last fall. How much have we spent? We spent probably $4,000, maybe $5,000. All right, so does that sound like a lot? Yes. Is it cheaper than $8,500 a month? Yes. Okay, do you want to go find out your assessment? Yes, because you want to be spending less than $8,500 a month. And the reason I quote that $14,000 a month figure, a friend of mine whose father is in stage 4 Alzheimer's. Incidentally, Alzheimer's is not a quick death. It's a very slow death.
It's the longest terminal illness of any illnesses.
One of my friends, her mother was diagnosed, I think 19 years ago now. She has gone through a multi-million-dollar fortune being cared for. It is not a quick, easy death. Yeah. So we want to avoid it at all costs. Okay, so yes, we've spent around maybe $5,000, supplements, doctor visits, little bike, exercise, and other things. But it's been a good investment because now I have a husband that I can not worry about, and I'm not looking at spending $8,500 a month as a nursing home. Oh, my friend, $14,000 a month. The terraces in Los Gatos, because he's in stage 4. Now, could you find someplace cheaper than the terraces in Los Gatos?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. However, he went there. $14,000 a month plus $2,000 a month for round-the-clock personal care, personal assistance.
How much did you say?
$2,000 a month.
So 16,000
Yes.
a month, basically.
Yeah.
Housing.
Yeah.
Housing and
Yeah.
food.
So it's really important
Yeah.
for every one of us to get our assessment and figure out where we are. And when you can't remember that you sold Apple stock, go take the assessment. Oh, God. Life. I want to give you some statistics. Let me tell you how I work with Transamerica World Financial Group. We do have long-term care policies available. They cover you for anywhere from 3 to 7 years. There's only one policy that I know of that is lifetime. And the reason they do 3 to 7 years is, guess what? They used to offer lifetime coverage. All those companies went broke. Yeah, so they don't offer that anymore. What's happening to the general population? We're living longer. Yay! If you're sick, you're still living longer, right? So it became very problematical. We have another alternative of life insurance with a long-term care option. And I'd be happy to explain that to you if you're interested. I'm gonna give you some figures that Transamerica put out. Median annual cost in the US, $50,326 for home health aid services. Okay, now I have a friend who had a business supplying people to the home health. So if I need, for example, if I needed somebody to take care of Earl, I would call him and say, send somebody over to take care of Earl this afternoon or this evening or once a week or every day. He got out of the business because he could not find people who were willing to work for that cost because it doesn't pay their living expenses in the Bay Area. All right. So Transamerica says the average cost is $50,000 a year for home health aid. I would say in the Bay Area that's a low figure. Private room in assisted living facility, $48,000 a year. That's also a low figure. Private room in a nursing home, they estimate $100,375. Now, what I've observed is people are moving out of the Bay Area so that they can get reasonable price nursing home for their nursing care for their parents. So that's one alternative because in other areas it is cheaper. I have a friend who lives in Huntsville, Alabama, for example. I told Earl we were moving to Huntsville. He said, go ahead. I'm not going. So I'll make a deal with you. If you know we're moving to Huntsville, we won't go. But by the time you don't know, so I can afford to take care of you, we'll go there. Our future is Huntsville if you get sick. He grew up in St. Louis. Hey, are you from the Midwest? He doesn't want to go back there. Anyway. Okay. Quality of life, I talked to you about that. I had a dream the other night where I was in a bus station in San Francisco trying to find a bus to take me to an art gallery. And I needed bus 13. And the buses would come up and it would be the wrong bus. I finally figured out we needed bus 13. Okay, so then finally 13 showed up. And by the time I got Earl's coat and stuff together, because everywhere we go, he takes enough for a 10-mile hiking jaunt, so he feels safe with that. By the time he got his stuff together, the bus was gone.
Oh.
Another bus came. Another number 13 finally showed up. By the time we got it together, the bus was gone.
Oh.
So then I said, okay, I'll get a taxi. By the time, so I hailed a taxi, and we were headed out there to get it. And by the time I got his stuff together, the taxi was leaving, and I ran after it. And we were in the middle of traffic. That's sort of what happens. That's real life in taking care of somebody with dementia, even though he's very capable, is still keeping him safe is a large part of it. Social interaction, I talked about that. Care of basic needs. He goes through periods where he doesn't change his clothes, and he also goes through periods where he needs me to stand there and help him take a shower. So you may get dementia or Alzheimer's, right? What if a family member gets that and you're having to be in charge of them or help them? One of the things that one of the figures they quote, again, I think is low. They're saying that people who, caregivers, income decreases $10,000 a year if you're taking care of an Alzheimer's patient. I would say, given the constantness and the interruption of it, the demands of it, it's much more than that. but that's the figure they give. 70% of people turning 65 will have a long-term care need during their lifetime. Well, you know, I'm 83, I'll be 84 in March, and we're all gonna have a birthday party. And my husband's 84. Neither of us have had any long-term care yet, and we're not going to, thanks to Dr. Ernesto, right? 40 million Americans currently serve as a primary healthcare provider for a family member. People who are serving in that capacity experience a decrease in financial well-being. In other words, they may have to leave their job, take time off. Their job is a risk. So this, I think what I'm trying to get across to you is the severity of the impact of having a person, either you having dementia, Alzheimer's, or someone in your family having that. It is, and Earl has a mild case. Wouldn't you call him mild? Pretty mild case, yeah, because he's functional. I can leave him at home. He can get food. You know, he walks around the block. He doesn't get lost. So, but even so, it's a constant care. I was going to go to Las Vegas. I had to get somebody to come and stay. His son was going to come and stay. But I changed my plans. But I couldn't go for 3 days without getting someone to come in. So if you care about yourself, if you care about your family members, then you need to be aware of this and maybe make some changes in your life. Okay, so any questions or comments? Have I scared you all to death?
I have a question, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know if it can wait till later, but you can tell me if it
go
can.
for it. I'm ready for a question.
With your business and with financial
Yeah,
help, you know, and money obviously is an issue. People need money to care for your family members or whoever has a need.
right.
How do you feel about different ways to get the money if you don't have it? You know, like reverse mortgages or home equity. Is that an appropriate question for right now?
I can only, so I am also a real estate broker. Okay, over 30 years as a real estate broker. It is a solution for some people. Yeah, and we can talk about that in more detail. I know of a case where a person was on Medicaid, had a home, paid off, high value, I don't know, it was in the Rose Garden, so this was several years ago. Let's say it was worth $1 million, I don't know. He was in Medi-Cal and getting nursing home care, and he died. And Medi-Cal came and took the equity of the home after he died, sued for the care to cover their cost.
Not just what they owed, but the whole equity?
Oh well, no, they
Took what they.
yeah,
Oh,
they got the bill paid through the home equity.
right, it's a lien on the home, I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was-
Recovery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
recovered. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I know that my mom and my sister-in-law takes care of my mom and my pop.
Yeah.
And my pop has vascular dementia. And my mom is not a good caretaker, and she's really losing her patience and doesn't know what to do. They're taking away all of his power over any of his money that he has, which is
They're
very,
doing what?
taking away his money, basically, and trying to get all the money either spent or over to my mom or only in her name, so that he can go on Medicaid.
Yeah.
And then the Medicaid would take care of his housing. And it's really hard to watch, you know, because even if both my parents went into care, my mom's husband would have to be in a separate house from her because she doesn't have a dementia issue. She just has physical issues as with walking and stuff. It's very, very hard on the family right now. Nobody knows what to do. as far as taking care of things, and I think that he's beyond the nutritional help at this point, you know. Many concussions. He was a handyman, fell off ladders many times, hit his head, so on. My company gives a discount from long-term care. I actually purchased a long-term care insurance policy for myself
Good for you.
because I still qualify. But I can get the same cost for my parents, but they wouldn't qualify because they're already too far gone.
Yeah.
So it's important if you can get a long-term care. I mean, even when I leave my company and retire, they've told me that I would still get my company's cost of the policy.
What company are you?
I work for Adobe,
Adobe.
and my policy is with Transamerica, so, yeah.
Oh, with Transamerica?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
You know, the reason I love working with Transamerica is they see a need, create products to fill the need. And so there's a wide variety of products to fill a variety of needs, and that's one of the things that's coming out. But your care, it'd be interesting to see your policy. It should be for like 5 or 7 years.
No, I believe that I think mine is it's longer, I think it's lifetime, and actually, I spoke to them about, you know, if I don't wanna go into a care facility, how does that work? And they said, it covers, the policy I have covers so that, let's say I had to live with my son and daughter-in-law, they wouldn't have to quit work and stay home with me, they could have people in-house taking care of me, and my insurance covers that.
Okay, keep in mind that's a company policy, so she's part of a group and they get a discounted and advantageous policy. So thank you for sharing. I'm glad to know that that's available. Any other quick questions or comments? Okay, so Rosetta is a wife and mother to her 15-year-old high school son, which I can't even believe she has a 15-year-old. And she's a skin care consultant and a health advocate. She truly believes that prevention is better than intervention and knows the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. She is committed to helping families get healthy from the inside out by educating herself and sharing the knowledge that she has gained to help benefit and inspire others. And I will tell you that she and Michelle have a wonderful program that they give regularly. I've lost about 8 pounds following some of their recommendations. At Christmas I gained 4 back. Now I've lost that 4, so I've had my 8 pounds gone for about 4 months now. So I'm just really happy. Maybe it's a start. You know, it's not where I'm headed. It's not the end result, but it's a start. And that's part of my Getting Healthy Inside and Out program. So Rosetta's going to talk about getting healthy inside and out and how she does that. So please give a warm welcome to Rosetta.
All right, thank you, Darren. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. And as you heard, yes, my mission, I'm all about prevention before intervention. And I think it's really important that we look at our health as not something that's a burden that we have to do. It's something that I say health is wealth, because if you don't have your health, your wealth means nothing to you. So I'm going to talk about nutrition and what it is and what it does to our body and why we need all this. So some of the things I'm going to talk about really relates to what Dr. Ernesto was talking about earlier. So our society, I believe, is just, we're on the go the whole time. We're overstressed, we are malnourished, and I don't mean we don't have enough food in the society. We are not nourishing our bodies with the right nutrition that we need. We are underhydrated, and everybody is just on the go, go, go convenience. And that's what is the breakdown of the nutrition that people put in their body. And what I find really important is that we need to all get back to eating healthy foods. Why do you think that nutritionists and doctors say you need to lead a healthy lifestyle and you need diet is very important? So what they're talking about is not spending a ton of money, going back to the raw fruits and vegetables and produce that we put in our bodies. And I'm here today to explain to you what produce, fruits and vegetables will do inside your body, whether you see it or you don't, and whether it's a positive or negative effect. So let's imagine our bodies, and we have full of polka dots. So these polka dots in our body will represent free radicals. Free radicals are just a fancy term for toxins in our body. We all have toxins in our body. So the more toxins we have in our body, and that actually comes from environmental toxins as well as toxins we put inside our body from the foods we eat, to the pesticides that Ernesto was talking about, herbicides and different things that tox our body up. So that, if we have too much of that, that turns into oxidative stress. So if you think of our bodies like an apple, if we cut an apple in half and leave it exposed to the air, it will turn brown. So what the apple is doing is oxidizing. It is actually deteriorating. So let's equivalate that to our bodies. If we expose our bodies to a lot of toxins, it's exactly what it will do. It will start to deteriorate inside without us seeing it. So that turns into oxidative stress, and that leads to inflammation. And you saw that slide. Inflammation is the root to all chronic disease. And Ernesto said that, and I truly, truly believe that is what it causes, chronic disease. So let's talk about produce, which is fruits and vegetables, and why we need that in our body. So fruits and veggies have something called phytochemicals. And what phytochemicals are everything in the fruits and veggies, from the color to the enzymatic activities to everything that serves our body well that we need in our body. The second thing fruits and veggies have are antioxidants. So what are antioxidants? So I didn't know before what antioxidants were. I've been hearing people say, eat your antioxidants. You know, you're like, yeah, it's healthy for you. But if they really ask you, what does it do to your body, would you know what that is? A lot of us don't know. We just regurgitate what people say. So what antioxidants are things like oxidants, like the apple, you cut that in half and it starts to oxidize. What is its antioxidant? It's a lemon. If you squeeze a lemon on an apple, it will reverse that or prevent that from oxidizing. So our body needs something to prevent our body from getting oxidized. So we need fruits and veggies. Fruits and veggies are our antioxidant, just like the lemon is to the apple. And that actually helps our good cells. So, like I said, our body is full of these polka dots. So these phytochemicals and these antioxidants, what the body does, allows these phytochemicals and oxidants to actually latch onto these toxins in our body. And when they latch onto these toxins, they're in a holding state. And that allows us to we naturally get thirsty. And that allows our body to rid our body of these toxins through the kidneys and liver to eliminate these toxins. So the more fruits and veggies we eat that are high in antioxidants, the more of these toxins we're actually eliminating from our body. So toxins, as you saw from Ernesto's slides, leads into inflammation, and inflammation causes disease. So let's see, where do we get these antioxidants and phytochemicals from? We get them from fruits and veggies. So the dark fruits and the berries, like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, even the leafy greens, like the broccoli, the kale, the spinach, the collard greens. And what these leafy greens are also great for is the brain. So this is fuel for the brain. The leafy greens are very high in vitamins A and C, and what it does is it prevents plaque from building in the brain. So plaque is basically inflammation in the brain. And the more that you can eat these leafy greens and fuel your brain, the less plaque you will have. So you will have less onset of cognitive deterioration. So it's really important to eat our leafy greens. So let me ask you a question, everyone. So how many servings of fruits and vegetables do you think we need to eat on a daily basis?
7.
7. Anyone else have another guess?
5. 8.
8.
2.
2. Okay.
That's what I
Five.
like, too.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to go through this spectrum. What people 2. So 2 is a good guess. 2 is actually what the average person eats a day.
See,
5
I'm
servings.
average.
Yay!
5 servings is what a healthy person eats a day. And when I'm talking about servings, I'm talking about the size of your fist. So each person will have a different size serving. So if you're a bigger person, you'll have a larger size serving. So 5 is a healthy person. 7 to 13 servings is what is recommended on a daily basis of fruits and veggies in our body every day that will nourish our body with all the phytochemicals and antioxidants. And this is for people that can eat and chew and know how to swallow. It does not include the group of people that are athletes, nursing mothers, pregnant women, or people with chronic disease. So with those people in that category, they have to eat way more than 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And I don't know anyone, is anyone here consuming at least 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day?
I try.
It's really not possible because, for one, it's just too much food. 2, with all those fruits that you get, high sugars. So if you're diabetic, it will affect your blood sugar. So it's not possible to eat that many. So I tell people, you still have to eat that, but could you imagine like an orange? An orange has 10,000 phytochemicals in it, and it gives our body 10,000 chances to rid our body of those toxins that we have in our body. So I would be remiss if I was to tell you to eat all these, high fruits and veggies with antioxidants and phytochemicals if I didn't tell you, how do we get that in our bodies without going out and buying all these fruits and veggies? So on the side note, I'm going to quickly say, Ernesto touched on it, it's really important when we do buy fruits and vegetables to buy organic. So there is, if you go on this website called EWG, Environmental Working Group, it actually gives you a list of the Dirty Dozen, which is the 12 fruits and vegetables that have to be purchased organic, and it gives you the clean 15. So the ones that you don't really need to buy organic, you can save a bit of money doing that, and they actually every year update that. And it goes from it's listed in order. So the first one would be like if it was the Dirty Dozen, the one that has the most pesticides in it. So let me just quickly talk about pesticides. What are pesticides and herbicides? So when farm growers are growing their crops, the reason why they spray herbicides and pesticides on their plants is because they're trying to get rid of the bugs that eat these pesticides. So they don't want the bugs to ruin their crops so that they can actually sell it to the grocery store. So what happens if you ingest those crops that have herbicides and pesticides? What will happen? If it's killing the insects and the bugs, what will it do to our insides when we're ingesting that?
Kill our bugs.
Yes, and the reason why a lot of us, we know it, but we don't do anything about it, is because we don't feel those effects. We can't see, our cells growing, our cancerous cells growing. We can't see inflammation in our body. But if you know that these pesticides, what they're doing in the fields, then you should do better for your body, because all of this is accumulative in your body. And by the time, you get to your 50s or 60s or whatever, you've had a lifetime of toxic, intake, then you start to see those effects, which is why I say prevention is better than intervention. And I want to tell you that one thing that I have done to get my fruits and veggies to bridge that nutritional gap, and I found this, is through a button called Juice Plus. So Juice Plus, what it is, it's fruits and vegetables that have been picked, vine ripened, in its most nutritious state. So when you pick fruits that are able to ripen on the vine naturally, that is when they have the highest nutritional compounds in them. So if you go to a grocery store and buy their fruits and veggies, they usually pick it 2 or 3 weeks prior, and then they put it in a solution so it gets shipped, and then by the time it gets to the grocery store, it's still good for when you bring it home. But what they're missing out is a lot of the nutrients. So Juice Plus, what they do is they pick these fruits, veggies, and berries at its highest nutritional state. They hydrate them at a very low temperature so it doesn't kill any of the nutrients. Then they put the whole fruit and vegetable. So in an orange, 80% of the rind is where you get all the nutrients. But as humans, we don't eat the rind, we discard that. So what this company does is they take the whole thing. They take the juice, the rind, the seeds, the pulp, everything, they pulverize it, and then they make it into a powder concentrate, and they encapsulate that. So that actually allows us to get our servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and it also allows us to do it in a convenient way. And the produce that they're picked is very, very clean. No pesticides, no herbicides, no contaminants. And I believe that we all, again, I'm going to stress prevention is better than intervention. So Juice Plus has 38 clinical studies and counting, and they've been studied in very high-end universities, medical universities, and published in high medical journals. And we know that through these clinical studies, what these fruits and vegetables do to our body. One, they boost immunity. And I don't know anyone in this room or anywhere wouldn't want their immunity boosted for many, many reasons. Number two, it actually increases our natural killer cells. So what that means is our body has these killer cells that roam around our body, and they kill those bad cells so that they cannot develop. So that's what it does. Number three is that it actually benefits and improves your DNA. So as Ernesto says, sometimes diseases are from hereditary, it's your DNA, but however, the foods that we put in our body can actually turn on or off these DNA cells. So it's up to us how we want our future bodies to be. So it doesn't mean for sure that just because cancer runs in the family or diabetes, you'll get that. It's all about diet and lifestyle, and how you can turn on and off those DNA cells. So basically, Juice Plus has, yes, again, I tell people that it's very clean. A lot of people are worried. I tell people don't, get things that are not organic, but there are things, like I said, that you need to buy organic. And the more you know, I really want to inspire people to go out there and actually take this information and do something with it, so that now you understand why we need to get back to eating fruits and veggies. And there's, in these Juice Plus capsules, they're very convenient. We have over 30 different fruits, berries, and vegetables. And it's something that I know has really changed my life. I've been taking it for over 2.5 years. I have not been sick once. My son gets them, and because I'm an adult, and there's a program that this company does, if you're an adult, you have a child, age 4 through college, you can get them for free. So it's basically buy one, get one free. Because we believe in having a healthy start for families at a very young age. So at the age of 4, anyone 4 through college can get it for free if an adult is taking the Juice Plus supplements. So that's
So
my little-
Rosetta, tell me what the top bad thing on the list is
of
of fruits and vegetables.
The Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen, what's the number one thing on the list?
Isn't it strawberries?
I think it's strawberry.
I think it's strawberries. I have to look at the list again.
Yeah,
I tried to pull it up, it's gone, it won't pull it up anymore.
Okay, so Michelle usually has a little card.
They should have it, because every time I've gone in it, I've not had an issue of getting that.
You can still just Google Dirty Dozen,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
come up in some
Yeah.
form.
They should have it. That's the site where they usually post it. That's where it's.
Dirty Dozen fruit. and
Oh, I'll
vegetables,
have
so
to
you don't
look.
get the
I'll
money.
have to look. Yeah.
These are foods not to eat
So
if
the
they're
Dirty
not
Dozen.
organic.
Yes, you have to buy organic. And I have a little story I need to tell you. I was at Costco, and I wanted to buy some grapes, and I saw this lady, and she was talking about to this other lady, and she was saying, "Yeah, this is cheaper. This is cheaper. It's a few dollars cheaper. Get this one." So I went to her, and I said, "Is that organic? Because I know that grapes have to be purchased organic." She goes, "No, but it's a few dollars cheaper." And I actually told her exactly why it's cheaper and why organics are more expensive, because of the way that they have to go through. It takes like 7 to 10 years to get that organic certification, and not to spray those pesticides on it. And I was telling her how those things actually build up in your body. Well, anyway, so long story short is, I explained to her very quickly why it's cheaper, why it's better to get organic, and she actually put those non-organic grapes down and picked up the organic grapes and walked away with it. So I did my job that day. I was quite happy, actually.
Yay!
So, Rosetta, stay up here, and let's talk a little bit about the whole nutrition idea. And what questions or comments do you have My own reason for losing weight is, I told you I'm gonna be 84, right? I'm gonna live to be 102. Okay, so I have, 16, 18 more years. The only way I can do that is if I get healthier. And so the first thing I wanted to do was get my weight down to where it needs to be.
Yeah, and just to tell you, I tell people it's not about losing weight. Don't worry about looking skinny. It's not about that. It's about what you put in your body and are you healthy? Because skinny people can be very unhealthy. So the weight loss, when you flood your body with fruits and vegetables, you're automatically going to detox your body and the weight will come off by itself. So I have to tell you real quick, because this is really important. When you are ingesting foods that tox your body, you're putting all these toxins in your body, what happens is that our body is very clever. All these toxins will seep out and affect your organs. So what our body does to protect those organs is it surrounds those toxins with fat. So the more toxins you're feeding your body, the more fat you produce, the more obese you'll become. But when you're flooding your body, you're automatically detoxing, and the body knows that there's not that much toxins to protect, so it starts shedding all this fat. So you're doing two things. You're getting healthy and you're losing weight, which is a good plus. So I tell people, don't ever go into doing something for the weight loss. Go into it to feed your body. You're either feeding your body or fighting your body. Feeding disease or, what do they say? Food is thy medicine. So every time you put something in your mouth, are you feeding disease or fighting disease?
So I made two decisions. One was to not drink coffee after 9:30 in the morning, because I tend to drink coffee and then I want something sweet. So I decided to ditch the coffee after 9:30. And the second thing was to make a large salad with lunch and with dinner. Okay, and what I learned to do was put fruits and vegetables in the salad. And they talk a lot about different colors in your diet. So I started buying beets and cooking them and chopping them up and putting them in the salad. So that's how I progressed to losing the weight. Was exactly what Rosetta was talking about, was decreasing the toxins, flooding the body with good fruits and vegetables. Cheryl, you had a comment or a question?
I do. I have a question. My body has food sensitivities.
Yeah.
I've been lactose intolerant since I was a child, and I have recently, as in the last couple of years, discovered that I'm unable to digest wheat.
That's gluten.
I
Yes.
bloat.
Yes.
So I've stopped eating bread as a rule.
Yeah.
I will cheat maybe once a month. But from that place in my body, I'm wondering about a cleanse. Or do you have any recommendations for a proper way to cleanse?
Yeah, so that's a really good, so she said that she's, she can't gluten intolerant, it's wheat. So wheat is, that's why people say eat gluten free, because that's wheat. A lot of people don't know that. And wheat is present in a lot of our foods. You have to be very careful. Read all the ingredients labels, because wheat is highly, highly inflammatory. And you said that you're lactose intolerant. Milk is another one that is not really good for you because of the some proteins in there, and we don't really recommend, drinking milk. But yes, so I can talk to you about that. So I've been doing, and Joan has talked about it a little bit, touched on it. There is a detox program that we have, that is a 10-day detox program, and what it does is it floods your body with fruits and vegetables, and it also wants you to eliminate all these foods, certain foods that are highly, highly inflammatory to the body.
And there's no milk in it.
And milk is one of the ones that they ask you to try and reduce or eliminate.
Yeah,
And so is gluten.
I don't
Yeah.
consume milk.
Yeah.
I don't either. I grew up where we had a cow and we drank lots and lots of milk. And my understanding of it is that you can become allergic to milk or lactose intolerant because of that history. The other thing I learned is that wheat in and of itself is not a problem. But what they do is they store it in these huge bins and they spray it.
With
And,
Roundup.
and then they toss it and then they spray it. And by the time we get it in bread, it's so covered with toxins and sprays and insecticides that
Right,
that's
so
the
you could
problem.
probably eat bread in South America and be okay, because they don't process it that way, for example.
Yeah.
But I also heard that there are little filaments in your intestines, like little hairs, that help to digest and move things along through your intestinal tract, and those can get coated with,
Yeah, that's the
Junk.
tox, yes.
Yeah.
So
And
your
so
gut can
that would
actually
be-
get, yeah, so
right,
it's
and
called
so
gut.
that's part of why I can't process or digest, is because those are covered and not able to do their job.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
cleanse might
Yes,
clear that out
yeah.
and render it.
Yeah, so what you probably got is, have you heard of leaky gut?
Yes.
So that's what it is, it's all the toxins coming out in your body because you're, it's over toxic, have too much
Okay.
toxins.
So you two can talk afterwards, Sonica?
Could you talk a bit about proteins? Because I'm never sure, together with the fruit and vegetables, whether animal protein is inflammatory and whether one should just do a plant-based diet.
So I still eat meat, and I don't tell people not to eat meat, but what I do tell people is be very careful of the meats that you buy. So if it's like beef, get the grass-fed beef. You can get a lot of I like my bacon, but I will not buy bacon unless it says nitrate, nitrite-free, no antibiotics.
I also buy paleo bacon, so
Yes.
there's no added sugar in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so you can actually, so if you can't get off meat altogether, try and get the healthier kinds, but you can reduce. And you can replace your protein with different kinds of protein, like nuts, soy, what else is there? Nut butters, you can get protein from that. I mean, you're not depriving your body of anything, because really, meats that come from animals don't really do us any good, really. I mean, we do it because it fills us up and we think that it's really healthy for us, but, we can live without meat, because there's actually the best diet out there is called the Mediterranean diet. And the reason why it's the best is because it's very high plant-based diet. Very low in meats, olive oil, high in olive oil, nuts, and grains.
So one of the things Michelle recommends is wild-caught salmon. And there is a specific brand that you can get at Costco and what I do is open one, it comes in a little can like tuna, but it's wild-caught salmon. To make a salad, put half a can or all the can on there, and you're good to go.
Where do you get it?
It's Costco.
But I think she mentioned that most of the salmon that in their cans are wild.
In that particular brand, yeah. Okay, so,
I got a quick question,
Debbie,
how do you get those products?
Oh, okay,
Is it
so-
online, or do you
yeah,
have to go
so-
through a,
you can.
Yes.
what do you call it?
Yeah, so I can talk to you later, but what I'm, very quickly, right now, what I can offer you is, if anybody wants to have a 15-minute consultation with me or Michelle, you can do that, and we'll pass out some paperwork here. Yeah, so this is Michelle's one, and I have a sign-up sheet with some times. And if you can't make these times, you can actually, we'll talk and we'll work around your schedule. So if you're interested in doing a little consult, 15-minute free consult.
So did you have, let me open it up, did you have additional questions for Dr. Medina? Debbie,
Oh,
or
no, I
me,
almost forgot
or
what it is now.
Rosetta, or,
I did try. Oh, yeah, and so where would this be?
Over the phone.
Oh,
So you live in Germany.
yeah, but
Yeah, you can get Juice Plus in Germany. We'll ship
They'll
it to
send
you.
it to
Yes, it's in Germany.
Oh, so you do it online?
Yes, I can help you. or
Because I sent, we sent to an APO, which is not my German address.
Is
but
it like a
goes-
PO box
Uh-huh.
kind of thing?
okay, so we'll
Yeah.
have that conversation afterwards. So I'm gonna, did you have questions for Dr. Ernesto? Yes, Annie?
So my question is actually, what is the difference between functional medicine and I see a naturopathic doctor? And I said I was looking for a functional medicine doctor, and he said, I'm already treating you for inflammation, we're already doing the healthy foods, everything we do is anti-inflammatory, because I have Hashimoto's, I have psoriasis, and, you know, obviously I have a propensity towards inflammation. I've been on anti-inflammatory foods pretty much for, you know, over a couple of years now, still not where I wanna be. I still have some symptoms and trying to figure that out. But what would be the difference between seeing my naturopathic doctor versus a functional medicine doctor?
Yeah, that's a good question. In a way, naturopathic doctors are kind of the originators in a way, but I have had patients come from naturopathic doctors, and naturopathic doctors are trained like medical doctors, so they have prescription rights. So depending on the type of doctor you're working with, many will just focus on that medical route and less on the investigation part. So like I said, well, I didn't mention that actually. 90% of hypothyroid cases are autoimmune based. So the question is, did you get tested for the autoimmune based? Do you know you have it? What's being done to address the immune aspect of your
Well, he has me on a different type of, he added another thyroid medication to the thyroid that my MD has already prescribed, which works on another side. We have done thyroid scan, we've done, you know, blood tests, testing different things for, you know, so on and so forth. So I guess my question is, you know, I mean, obviously, I'm signing up for the, you know, for the 99 special, because I'd like to see, is where I'm going with my naturopathic doctor the right path, or is there something in addition? Because I'm already eating anti-inflammatory, I take a lot of supplements, the omega-3s, the magnesium, all the different things that you have listed there, vitamin D, every single thing is already in my day-to-day process. But where, you know, and I know that I don't exercise enough, so I can, you know, I will admit that 100%. Just wondering, you know, if you know, if there could be.
Okay, so maybe what I'd like to do is just finish up, and then you can continue that conversation.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That'd be part of our consult.
Okay.
when you have it.
Okay. So Rosetta can talk to you some more about nutrition. She'll be here for a little bit. Dr. Ernesto will be here for a little bit and can talk about the difference between naturopath and functional medicine or other topics. And what do I do to help you? I can do a money analysis, a snapshot of your current money situation, and then we can arrive at a path forward so that, number one, you can live to 102 and dance, die dancing. Okay, that's my goal, to die dancing. And number two, if you do in fact need help, financial help with different things, I can help you. So those are the options that you have today. Thank you so much for being here. We love doing this. We'll do it again. You'll get invited. Come and bring a friend. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
all hang around.